Close your eyes and think of a warrior. Chances are your thoughts didn't just go to a vague silhouette. You probably thought of a samurai in lacquered armor drawing his razor sharp katana. Or maybe your mind went to a Viking, his thick beard with his axe, getting ready for a raid.
Why is it that we can recognize the curve of a Japanese blade or the thunder from a Norse god from a mile away? These stories and histories did not become famous overnight. They were premiumized. The Japanese took the Bushido code and turned it into a global aesthetic. From the Ghost of Tsushima to the modern day kitchen knives, the samurai isn't just history, it's now a brand. It's something that the whole world is familiar with and in awe of.
Through the grace of Shaolin monks and the cinematic epicness of Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragon, the world knows of the flow of their philosophy and the weight of their dynasties.
It goes beyond history. Look at mythology. The Greeks have conquered the world twice over, first with Alexander the Great and now with God of War and Marvel. Everyone knows about Zeus and Hades and the tragedy of Achilles' heels. The Norse myths have become so famous that they've become the backbone of modern literature, and we all know them as if it was our own folklore.
These stories are so widespread because they were told in a manner that the modern world understands. They were turned into luxury, they were turned into art and culture, they were turned into cinema and into collectibles. They were premiumized and they were made oh so cool.
The Indian civilization is one of the world's oldest, and it dates back almost 10,000 years, if not more. Our history is as vast, if not more so, than any of the ones that I spoke about before.
For decades, Indian stories have been relegated to two extremes. It's either dry academic textbooks that feel like a chore to read, or it's shaky CGI in Indian serials that fail to capture the sheer grandeur of the actual stories they are based on. The world knows the peaceful, spiritual India. The world doesn't know the warrior India, and definitely not the empire builder India.
We have kings that commanded the seas and philosophers that mapped the stars. But we haven't been able to tell these stories in a way in which the entire world can understand their greatness.
What's sad is that it's not just the world, it's also us as Indians. We haven't showcased our stories in a way that would make a teenager in New York or a collector in Tokyo want to sit up and say, I really need to know more about that.
If you think we're exaggerating, let's just have a look at a few of the examples. While the Vikings were raiding the coastlines of Europe, the Cholas were running a blue water navy and had captured the Bay of Bengal and turned it into the Chola Lake. They were running complex naval logistics and had captured many parts of Southeast Asia. Their art and architecture spread to thousands of miles. Why isn't that on every screen? Imagine a cinematic universe which is based on a 10th century naval superpower.
The Kailash Temple at Ellora, an amazing engineering feat. Our ancestors had carved a multi-story temple from just one massive rock. They started on the top and worked their way down. And they removed 400,000 tons of rock with just chisels and hammers. If you think about it, that is a crazy feat when it comes to monolithic structures. Yet, it's hardly ever mentioned in the same breath as the pyramids.
Centuries before Machiavelli wrote The Prince, Chanakya had already written the Arthashastra. It's a beautiful and brutal treatise on statecraft, on spy networks, and economic strategies. He took a simple youth and turned it into a big empire that was able to defeat the successors of Alexander the Great. Why aren't statues and figurines of Chandragupta, of Chanakya, sitting beside the ones of Loki and Thor on our desks?
And then there is the Mahabharata, one of the greatest epics in human history. And at its very heart lies the Battle of Kurukshetra. A conflict so monumental, it redefined the meaning of morality and blurred the lines between what was thought to be good and evil. The Pandavas versus the Kauravas, gods and men, demigods and saints, everyone fighting for what they believe to be right. It gave us the Bhagavad Gita, a simple conversation between Bhagwan Krishna and Arjun, which is now considered one of the most important texts in human history.
This gap between our history and its perception and awareness is exactly why we built Viraasat. We are going to bring India's glorious past to life in a way that the entire world can cherish it. learn from it, and claim as their own. Something that not just we, but our coming generations can be proud of. Our history deserves to be immortalized and not relegated to dusty old books or low quality adaptations in cinema.
And it all starts with our flagship project, the Battle of Kurukshetra. We're bringing 5,000 years of strategy and epicness to your living room. We've distilled the very essence of the Great War, the formations, the warriors, the very weight of Dharma, and turned it into a physical experience. Let's just say the Mahabharata's greatest artifact still lives on, and we can't wait to show you more.